Okay, so here's how you are going to start your Google Sites website for class today. The first thing you need to know is that you must be in Google Chrome. It does not work because we're using new Google Sites. It does not work if you are inside Safari or Firefox or anything else. So you must be in Google Chrome. Then you're going to open two tabs. The first tab is, as you see on the screen, your Gmail. And the second tab is going to be My Example Website. If you've lost it, you can open Haiku, and as you've seen last week, you can click the big Here button. But we're going to pause here until everybody has both their Gmail and their example website open. So once you have that, you're going to go inside your Gmail and you're going to click where it says Sites from the 9 squares in the upper right-hand corner. Click where it says Sites. So you will see on the left-hand side, once you open Sites, something that's called New Google Sites, which is what we're going to use. Now, if you don't see this tab, New Google Sites, it means that you are inside Safari or Firefox or something else, but you must be in Google Drive. You must be in Google Chrome to see this because Chrome is the only one that this works with right now. So you'll click on New Google Sites. And I'm going to go ahead and remove this one so you don't see it because that's what the practice one is. So you'll see in here, yours will probably be blank. Mine has one example on it, but you're going to go to this red button in the bottom corner, which means you're going to create a new Google site. And when you open it, this is your title page. So before we do this title page, I want you to look at the top right-hand side of the screen. You'll see 3 sections. Insert, and these are all the things that you can insert. And then these are all the places you can insert from. You'll also see pages, and you see you're already set up with a home page, which you do need. And then you'll see themes, and you can change your theme later. Do not worry about that today. It is not important. So we're going to start with pages. And for your pages, you already have home, but you're going to click this button for adding. And you're going to add 3 pages for your 3 choices or tabs that you created in your planning document, and 1 page for the utopian dystopian connections to the world. So if we go back and look at my example website, we've already been given the home page. I chose these 3, letters to characters, newspapers, and maps of society. You're going to create your own 3, and then everyone's going to do this today's world turning dystopian or utopian as you choose. So we've got to go make this page, this page, this page, and this page. These 4 right now. So on your site, add a page. Let's say your first one is escape and leaving. You get to choose what you want, remember? Click done. Your next one is government control, maybe. Done. And your last one is maybe you decided you wanted conversations. Let's do maps of societies. So you have those 3 plus the home now. If you need to change the name, perhaps you didn't capitalize or something, or you misspelled it, or you want to change it, you just click on these 3 dots and you click rename page. Or if you don't like the page, you can hit remove page from the site. So your last one, if you look on my example, says today's world turning dystopian. And remember, you got to choose whether it was dystopian or utopian for yourself. So on here, you're going to create the last one and you're going to write today's world turning whatever you choose. Okay, I'll let you fill that in. And then hit done. So now we have all 5 of our pages. Home, escape and leaving, government control, maps and societies. Remember, these 3 will be whatever you planned, and everyone will have today's world turning and home the same. So we're going to pause right here while everybody does that. So for the next step, what we're going to do is you need to look at these 4 pages in comparison to my 5 pages, comparison to my example website. So you'll notice that on the home page, this is what your title should look like. Of course, yours should not have blanks in it. Yours should have the actual titles of the novels capitalized. And then you have to have part 1, part 2, and part 3. So let's go start with our home page first. So on your site, you're going to go to home page and click on it. And now it's time for us to insert. So here's where you can insert Now, these four are up here in the right-hand corner, but another way to do it would be to double-click in the center, and this circle will pop up. You can choose text, you can choose URL, you can choose images, you can upload, you can use Drive. Let's do text first. So if you look at this, I would say copy what you have to have, go to yours, and then you know what you have to add, and you can delete and fill in your own writing. That's bolded, so you would have to unbold that. But you can fill in your own writing for this. The important part is that to know is that you should actually delete all of the pieces that are the explanations when you are finished. And if you are trying to change font size at this point on Google Sites, the new Google Sites, the one we're using, you can't change it by size of font. You can't say 12 size font, or 12 or 14 point or size font. You can't say 16, 18. You can only choose between these four: normal, title, heading, or subheading. So if you want it really big, which you don't, it would look like that. I would say most of this is going to be normal text. You also cannot change and add color yet on this, but you can bold and italicize things. You can also add lists. In addition, if you want to make a link, say you have a map or an image that you want to show from your Google Drive, you just have to link there and you paste in the link from wherever you want it to go, or for wherever you want it to go. So let's get out of here. I'm gonna ask you guys to pause it in just a second and fill out your part 1, your part 2, and your part 3. And in addition, your title. Now, if yours is really, really long, like mine is long, you're gonna have to change the size to maybe heading or subheading, probably not normal text. But it's probably going to be too big if you write the whole thing in the title format. So right now you should be working on your home page, just as you have seen in this, and we'll pause it here until you are done with your home page. Okay, so for the next part, let's go back and look at our pages. So you have finished your home page, or assuming you have finished your home page. Let's go look at your 3 choices on here. Escape and leaving, government control, maps of societies. Yours will probably be different than that. Let's go to our very first page. Look at what you notice on my home page. I'm sorry, my first page. I chose letters for characters. Notice that you have to have this introduction, and then you have to have the letter, and then you have to have another introduction and another letter, or whatever options you have chosen if you're not doing letters. You have to have 2 writings. If I were you, I would insert either through here, or I would double click in the center and hit text. Now, what's important to notice about this is you can continue to insert text after text after text, and they will show up in bars like this. You can also move them. If you want them to be side by side, watch, you drag this little section of boxes here up and it becomes a grid. So if I put it over here, it's going to end up side by side. And I can shift and draw this one over here, and shift and draw this one over here, and then they're equal, and I can type in whatever I want for these. If you're adding images between these, you can do the same thing. If you want to upload an image from somewhere, you can drag it in. You can get it from Google Drive, or you can get it from one of your albums. I'm going to just search something simple like Apple. Now yours will not be pictures of apples, but yours instead will be screenshots of your, look here, your letters, screenshots of your newspapers. So once you put it in there, you can size it this way, you can size it this way, whatever way you want to. You can also shift it to the left or shift it to the right, but you will notice that you can't drag it. Let's go back. You can't make it too big by just pushing on the sides or pulling the bottom, because the whole thing won't show up. So you're going to have to size your box. But if I size it too far down, look, I'm cutting off the edges. So I'm going to have to go back over here. You have to play with this a little bit, which means you might have to shrink and recenter to get where you want to get. Okay, so that one's still not quite right, but you get the idea. You can play with it. In addition, if you're like, Miss, I have all this stuff up here and I want my picture up there, you do the same thing. You click on it and drag it up. If you put it over here, it's going to go on that side. If you put it on this side, it's going to go between the two. Here's another between. You can choose how you want it. So if this is your heading, maybe you decide you don't need this or you want to move it down somewhere else later, you drag and drop, however you want it to look. So yours are obviously not going to be pictures of apples, but my recommendation to you is take a screenshot of what's in your Notability after you have edited it, save it in your Drive, or save it, send it to yourself in an email and put it on the desktop to the side, and then you can drag it in. But you should know, if you have something with a screenshot from Notability, you're going to have a little bar up here, and you can't crop very well on this. There is a crop tool, see it? But really it only lets you zoom or not zoom. Okay, so it doesn't work very well to do that on here. You need to crop anything you want before you add it to your website. So far you should have done home and at least started one of your pages here. When you have finished, you can go to your next page and your next page and your next page. When you get to your last part, turning in today's world, when you get to this part right here, what you're going to have to do is go back to the example website and see what's on here. Again, I would copy and paste what you have to have, all the steps, and then fill in on that website. You can hit a text box, you can fill in, and then put in your own answers here and delete the explanations. So most students in class today got done home and then one or two of these pages. And tomorrow in class we'll be doing the last page and the today's world. Don't worry about publishing, don't worry about site name, don't worry about untitled site yet. All of that will go later and we'll be able to save everything when you go in and out. It's not, you don't have to do anything special to save, it will just go in and out the way Google typically does.